Good morning. My name is Bautista, and I'm the older brother of Cherie Galvez. We are 12 in the family, 7 boys and 5 girls. I'm child number 2, while Cherie is child number 3. My father had a secret formula, and for some reason he could predict the gender of his children even before they were born. Thus, the sequence of the 12 kids was like this: girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy. And as my mother loved to say, change toy. Boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, boy. When asked why the last was a boy, he smiled and said he didn't have enough practice. Of course, with 12 children, my father had to have a system to raise as well, and it was simple. Raise the first child right, and the others would follow her lead. He didn't have a problem with disciplining us, as he simply delegated it. His rule was the older child discipline the succeeding child, and so on. But as you know, life isn't fair. Our oldest, at the age we say with us, had lots of problems with me, being child number 2, but I had absolutely no problems with Cherie. Cherie didn't need much disciplining, as she was super good, super nice, and also super smart. That means she simply run rings around me. You read Cherie's obituary, which lists her incredible accomplishments. Valedictorian in grade school and high school, summa cum laude in college. But not only that, Cherie was a star athlete. She was a star of the varsity table tennis team in their university. She played the guitar, a gift clearly passed on to Cherie, her youngest son. Many years ago, our family was recognized by the Philippine Catholic Women's League as the Family of the Year, because apart from being a model Catholic family, among the 12 children were summa cum laudes, magna cum laudes, and cum laudes. When asked by an interviewer who had to write an article on our family why this was so, my father's answer was simple. All a man needed to do was marry a summa cum laude. Yes, my mom is also a summa cum laude. Tish, child number 1, is a summa cum laude. Cherie, child number 3, is a summa cum laude. I am summa cum difficultatis. My problem about being sandwiched by 2 summas is that they just suck the brains out of me. So my 6 other brothers know exactly how I feel. Cherie was the maid of honor when I got married, and she was the first person in my family that my girlfriend and future wife, Wenda, met. And after she said she's okay with it, I knew it was going to be easy introducing her to my parents. I married at 22, Cherie was 23 when she married the love of her life, June. Being a very private and secretive person, I didn't even know they were already a couple when I learned they were getting married. After marriage, they left the Philippines for Indonesia, Singapore, and eventually for good. So my younger siblings, especially in the 3rd and 4th quartile, never really got to know Cherie. But Cherie got to know them as she was always a gracious host who welcomed us and the many visitors into their home in Singapore. My dad was good at incentivizing his kids. He promised them, graduate with honors, and I will send you to Singapore to visit Cherie. To Cherie's chagrin, of course. I was then working in Indonesia and Singapore, being just less than 2 hours away. We would visit Cherie, June, Davy, and Jiffy almost 4 times a year. So thus I saw how Davy and Jiffy transitioned from speaking English with a Singaporean accent to learning English with an American accent. Their Pasadena home also became our base station, the original Quality Inn, where she acted as a mother to her siblings. Nephews and nieces would stay with them while visiting the sites of Southern California. Visitors are always welcome, as June and Cherie were always generous hosts. My own youngest daughter, Charlie, who worked in Santa Monica for 6 months as part of her master's course, stayed with the Galvezes on weekends, and she considers Cherie her second mom. So when plans were afoot for a family reunion among 12 children in Lake Arrowhead to be with an alien sister, Charlie, my daughter, came to show her love for her second mom. Among one of Cherie's many skills is cross-stitching, and hanging on her bedroom wall is a frame cross-stitched quotation which reads, "God couldn't be everywhere, so He created mothers." I guess it says it all. Cherie was a mother, not only for her family, but motherly to all who stayed under the roof. Who would have thought that Cherie would be the first among us 12 brothers and sisters to go? 10 years ago, our oldest sister, Tish, contracted cancer, fought it, and won. 4 years ago, I suffered a stroke. I was in intensive care for days, but survived. Then 15 months ago, Cherie was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and she fought it so she could see her grandson, Alex. The generous Lord gave her 8 more months to enjoy Alex. Of course, now she's watching over Alex in heaven and enjoying him from above. In Lake Arrowhead 2 months ago, and watching over Cherie this last week, many of us have been assailed by memories. Most good. Most were in the mode of gratitude for what Cherie has given us and others, gratitude to God for having given us a gift in the person of Cherie, a truly beautiful person. There is no regret in me as an older brother that she will not experience the joys of old age, because as when the brother, Bingo, who was crying, said goodbye to her in Arrowhead, Cherie said, "Don't cry for me, I have lived a full life." I think she meant that she has had a long experience of life, not only of her own life, but others too. She has seen all of us, her siblings, do well in life, and in the few times she would write personal emails, she disliked group emails. She congratulated us for recent promotion or a job well done. Until 3 days ago, my mother had 12 children. Now she still has 11 to give back to the Lord. Our mother in the Philippines, whom Father Jerry met, is turning 90 in November. She couldn't come as she had the flu a few days before our departure, and she took that as a sign not to come. When the end came for Cherie, I called out my 4 brothers in the Philippines to break the news to my mom personally, and they saw her before she was going to her daily mass. And you know what the reply was? Cherie's pain is over, and that is what I have been praying for. Our parents taught us lots of things, but one thing they didn't teach us was how to cope with the death of a sibling. But we are comforted by the words of Cicero, who said that the life of the dead is placed in the memories of the living. I guess he means that the love we feel in life keeps people alive beyond their time. Cherie was given love will always live on in our hearts, because those we hold in our hearts will never say goodbye to. Cherie, dear little sister, God is kind and merciful and has now embraced you in His arms. We love you. Thank you.
My name is Daniel, her oldest son. On behalf of the Galvez and Bautista family, I'd like to thank you all for coming today to pay respects to my mother. While my brother and I mourned the loss of our mom, who was taken away from us much too soon, we are actually pretty lucky to have such a wonderful woman who raised us. She was not just a loving, caring, and nurturing mother to us. She was also a teacher, disciplinarian, and guidance counselor. She molded two rambunctious boys into men, and was supportive of us when we grew up, no matter what we wanted to do with our careers, whether that was wanting to be a vet, journalist, chef, restaurant manager, or in the case of my brother, a rock star. What was important to my mom and dad was that we were happy doing what we did. They did not push us to become accountants or dentists. They just wanted us to do something that we loved and to do it to the best of our ability. My mom really just wanted us to be happy. She turned me happy. Soon after she was diagnosed with cancer, I told my mother that I loved her for the very first time out loud. It may seem strange to some that I waited 38 years before my mother had cancer to tell her that I love her. But it was just the way our family worked. We never said I love you to each other out loud until just recently. And we didn't have to. We just knew we did. Our love for each other did not need to be verbalized because it was as obvious as breathing in the air. In recent years, I've gotten married and started my own little family. And I do tell my wife and my son that I love them every day. But I have not forgotten that it is much more important to show them that I love them. And that is one of the many things that I've learned from my mother. Thank you, Mom, for everything. I love you. We all love you.